The Book of Boba Fett, Episode 6, From the Desert Comes a Stranger. Cad Bane is in live action. And I'm not sure how to process that right now. I made a video because I had to record my reaction to it. So that'll be up probably after this. I'll make it the end card or whatever. I thought this episode was already good. I already thought it was great. Like last week's episode, I was like, this is amazing. I got pretty much everything I want. Everything I need from Mandalorian stuff was in the last episode. I got to see the Darksaber again, my favorite weapon in all of Star Wars. I got to see Mandalore, even though it was getting destroyed, but I got to see it. I got a Terminator reference. It's one of my favorite franchises. I got to hear them talk about Sabine and reference they talked about something that happened with Sabine. They still didn't reference her, but they talked about Bo-Katan and how she got the Darksaber. I was happy. I was already happy. And then this episode came and I was like, okay, cool. He's going to go visit, little baby Grogu. Maybe we will see Luke. Everybody was talking about it. Like, well, if he's going to visit him, are they going to let that be an episode in The Mandalorian? And then, we're sticking with Boba and then we just see him come back? No, they were like, nah. Dave Filoni was like, no. My time. This is my stuff. The best stuff. And Dave Filoni came in and was like, nah, here's everything. Cobb Vanth is back. That's amazing. First off, let me say this, and you'll see it in the video, but I was terrified that they were going to kill off Timothy Olyphant, because I'm like, you can't kill him off, it's justified, like he's a sheriff. Again, it's like the fourth time he's been a sheriff in something. You can't kill Timothy Olyphant off. That would be effed up. That would hurt my feelings. So I'm really glad Cad Bane only shot him in the shoulder, because that's a Cad Bane thing to do. It's like, okay, this dude's going to piss me off. The lieutenant guy, I'm like, he's toast. As soon as he was like, he's not for sale, I'm like, okay, I know he's dead, but Cad Bane is good enough to kill everybody. Like that, I was still worried. I'm like, I know you're going to die. I don't care about you. But, he's good enough to kill everybody. But he shot Cobb Vanth in the shoulder. And I was like, okay, I can accept that. And I'm good. But Cobb Vanth showed up. And I was like, sweet. He's back in the show. That's amazing. I love Timothy Olyphant. I love Justified, so I love the dude. And he's a good character in general. So I was like, all right, that's cool to have him back. I figured he was the character from the desert. I thought that was kind of the thing, like the stranger coming in. I thought that the way they were going to do it was somehow he would end up running into Boba Fett kind of automatically, and that was how they were going to play that story out and be like, oh, they end up joining together outside of, the Mandalorian, outside of Den. That's not the case, but still, I thought he was the stranger from the desert. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, that's cool. Like, Cobb Vanth is the dude who's in, like, kind of almost the outskirts at this point, where it's like, even in the opening, he's like, I'll just assume you thought you were in the middle of nowhere, but from way over there to way over there, I have to watch this territory. So I thought it was him. And I was like, this is great. This is cool. And then Den is like, all right, I'm going to actually do my little trip. I'm going to go to the planet. I assume he's on the planet that we see in the sequel trilogy, because I'm pretty sure that school that they're talking about, like, oh, it's nothing yet, but it's going to be an amazing school. I'm pretty sure that's the school that gets destroyed in the sequel trilogy, because I'm like, that's what it looked like. I'm like, that's interesting, and it makes sense. So that was amazing, and it's really funny. They did something very specific in this episode, and I don't know if it was meant to be a hint or it just happened to be that way. But because Ahsoka's episode in The Mandalorian was very samurai inspired, when they were going through the forest and Din was walking with R2, which is great to see R2, of course, I noticed that there was a bunch of bamboo trees, and I was like, that makes me think of Ahsoka, because her episode was very samurai-esque, and bamboo trees are, of course, a very Japanese thing. And it just made me think of, like, training to, slice down bamboo trees. And I was like, that makes me think of Ahsoka. I didn't actually think she was going to be in the episode, but it was amazing. And I'm like, he went to the planet that Luke is on, and then Ahsoka showed up, and I was like, hold on a second. That means that they talk to each other. And they do. And it was one of the greatest things. Like, this is literally, so was the last episode. Both of these episodes have technically been historic moments in Star Wars, because the last episode showed the first live-action appearance of Mandalore, still being destroyed, but technically that was the first time we'd ever seen it. This episode is the first time that we have canonically ever seen Ahsoka Tano and Luke Skywalker together. And she even referenced Anakin. She was like, you're so much like your father, like the good side of him. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, that's so freaking good. And then they had Grogu, like, when he saw the ship and he, like, put his little hand down, I was like, so emotional. It was amazing. It was amazing. And then we got a little training montage. He did the flip. I was like, if he's wearing Grogu on his back, he has to do the flip. And of course, they put the flip in. They put the Empire Strikes Back flip. So I was like, he did the flip. I'm very happy. Like, I can appreciate a simple reference, but I'm like, he's on his back. He has to do the flip, right? He's got to do the flip. So he did the flip. I was super happy. The CG, also interesting. Like a lot of people, I didn't like it as much when it first showed up. I think it was much better in this episode. Though I'm not going to lie, I'm genuinely confused. I cannot tell 100%. In some scenes, I'm like, that just looks like they got an actor that looks like Mark Hamill, but I'm pretty sure it's all CG. But there are definitely scenes where I'm like, when he turns into like a certain position, I'm like, that 100% looks like Mark Hamill. But there's a lot of times where I'm like, it looks like somebody else, but it looks like, it almost looks like they lessened the CG because the guy kind of looks a bit like Luke, and I'm pretty sure it's the same person, which was also the pilot that ran into Din in the last episode, who wasn't the dude from the last season of The Mandalorian. The younger pilot was the Luke Skywalker stand-in, so I believe that was, I would assume that was still him, but I feel like they did a bit less CG on it, because I'm like, it's there, but it also just looks like another person. It looks like they actually chose an actor to like play him. So I was like, there were parts where I'm like, this actually looks like Luke, and then there are other parts where I'm like, this looks like an actual person, but I can tell it's CG to look like Luke. And it was weird. I was like, the CG is so good that it just looks like a different person who kind of looks like Luke. It was throwing me off like the whole episode, because I'm like, it's definitely CG, but in this scene, it doesn't look CG, but it does look like a different person. So it was weird. It was like I don't know, it was weird. It was like a half and half thing. Like, it seemed like, I swear it seemed like some scenes was just a dude that kind of looked like Luke, and then other scenes was CG and it looked like Luke. So it was really weird, the whole episode. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. You know, of course, as the episode goes on, I got more and more used to it, but I was like, okay, I'm happy with it. Also, not to mention the fact that Luke's just in it. It's like, I mean, from the heights of the Mandalorian season 2 finale, where it's like Luke Skywalker, to now it's just like Luke Skywalker, the teacher, the master. And Ahsoka's just on the planet with him, talking to him about his dad. It's insane. That's so insane to me. It's literally, like, it's wild. Dave Filoni just comes in and he's like, I know what you want, everybody. I got you covered. Like, that's why he should have been doing Boba Fett. But hey, he, you know, when he comes in, he does his personal stuff, and that's why it's always perfect. It is what it is. But man, it was good. It was really well done. I love the training montage, you know, actually seeing Grogu starting to utilize the Force, and you know, we see him jumping and stuff. And I was like, this is interesting. It's funny. Like, he's so tiny. They made sure to still not show his feet even when he jumps. Like when he's first training and he like lifts his leg up. They made sure to be like, he doesn't really have feet. Like, they just basically do it where we don't ever see his feet. And I was like, that's a funny choice, but I thought it was interesting, because I'm like, if he's lifting his foot up, we'd be able to see the bottom. But they're like, no, we'll make it where his stuff, his like little outfit is always just over his foot. But I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic, and I'm like, I'm enjoying this episode already. It's already, you know, Cobb Vanth. It is Luke Skywalker. It is Ahsoka Tano. It is training Grogu. It's the concept. Like, it's funny. They referenced Yoda, and Luke was, trying to, he referenced them and was, Clone Wars. They showed the Clone Wars when they referenced them, and he was like, do you want to remember? And then they showed the clones, and they look so good. They look so good in live action. I was like, man, it's been a long time since we've seen the CG clones in live action. And I was like, they look really good. They look shiny and stuff, and the reflection. I was like, this looks really, really sweet. Like, if we got like a very, very special movie or something where it was just the siege on, the Jedi Temple, I don't think it would be too bad. But it was a great little moment there. But Luke referenced Yoda, and I felt like Ahsoka kind of portrayed him a little bit. Like, she kind of used his teachings when she was talking to Din, and kind of doing the philosophical thing is like, so are you doing this for you, or are you doing this for him? It's like, it'll be harder for him if he actually sees you and stuff. Like, she was doing that stuff, like, kind of making him contemplate, like, what is truly the best option here. Like, I know you love him, and of course he loves you. That attachment is very serious, but, how would that really work out for him? And Din has to think about it. It's like, just make sure he gets this. And then he takes off, and then we get, like, the moment where he sees the ship, and it's like, Dad. And I'm like, so emotional. And so all of that was great. All of that was really good. And then we cut back to Cobb Vanth. Din goes back, and it's like, oh, here's Boba Fett. For like a minute and a half. So then he leaves. It's so sad. They're like, it's so effed up. Because I love the episode. Just like last week. Love it. Fantastic. But man, I hate it how they're treating Boba Fett. Because I'm like, why? Just why couldn't he have something cool? And it sucks. It just really sucks. But I'm getting what I want. So I get, hey, I'm sorry to all the Boba Fett fans. I never cared that much about him. So for everyone that was like, it's Boba Fett, I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry. Like, I know what it's like. I just, it's effed up. it really sucks. But still, outside of him, which was basically the whole episode, just like the last one, Din was like, hey, I can probably help with the foot soldier thing. He goes to Cop Van, they have a conversation, and it's like, okay, he takes off, and it's like, we're going to have people, bring everybody in, I want to talk to them, and we'll see what ends up happening. And so he's talking, I'm like, okay, cool, we're going to cut back to Din and Boba, and they're going to be doing the thing or whatever. No. One of the greatest moments I have ever experienced in Star Wars happens. Because he's talking, and he just looks out upon the desert, and that stranger strolls on in, and I'm telling you, as soon as I saw just a dude walking, it was over. I had to grab the camera, and I was just like I have it I'm playing it now. It's just a random dude, and it's crazy. It's crazy to think that there are people who do not watch Clone Wars, and it's like they don't understand. It's like when the Darksaber showed up, I cried because I'm like, the Darksaber is my favorite weapon. Like, I was so excited, I cried because I'm like, it's happening. It finally means I'm gonna get a toy out of it. Still waiting on the effing Darksaber from Best Buy. What the F? But still, it finally happens. I see this dude walking out. It's so good. The hat is fucking amazing. The voice is perfect. Like, they had it where he was just like the brim, and then he looked up, and I was just like, everything I am experiencing is perfection. I probably slammed my table like 4 times just in the moment. I was just like, just excited. So it was so insane. Cad Bane is in live action, which means not only is he going to be in this show for what is 1 episode, which I am really wondering what is about to happen after next week. Are we getting like a movie-long episode, or are they effing with us? Because something else has to happen. There is no way next week is an hour-long episode and they fight all of the war, and then it's like, all right, the story's settled. Something's happening, and I don't know what it is, but I am telling you, there is no effing way that next week ends and it's just a normal episode. Like, an hour isn't enough. It's either going to have to be movie length, or they're going to be like, surprise, Mandalorian season 3 is kicking up like in 2 weeks, and then like it's something weird, something's happening. Like, there's no way that they end it like this, because that's so stupid. It just can't happen. But we've had the rest of the series, so it's really scary, and it's really hard to tell, because I'm like, there is too much stuff going on for 1 episode. Even 2, honestly. I feel like 2, but I'm pretty sure it's only 7 episodes for the season. But like I said, even if it's 8, I still don't think that's enough. So I'm hoping there's a crazy mystery, and it's like, surprise, next week is like, they're going to hit us with like the Clone Wars deal, where it's like, this is basically movie quality, and we're getting like a 2-hour episode. Like I said, even then, I don't know if that's really enough. But as of now, Cad Bane is in live action. And let me tell you, this man is alive after Return of the Jedi, which means that he has survived from the Clone Wars all the way up to now, which means they can do anything. They can do live action. They could do CG. It does not matter. Cad Bane is alive. We could have a story throughout decades of what he has been doing. The story is just wide open now. There could be comics. There could be anything. He's live action, which also means, you notice, like, I always have the thing here. If he's live action, everybody's been talking. If you're not into the figure collecting community, this is I'm gonna make it quick. I'm just excited. It's Cad Bane, all right. I've been waiting. Like, when he was in the Bad Batch, when he first showed up, I wasn't expecting. I was just like, okay, this is a cool episode. What the f is going on here? Like, they took out all these clone troopers. That's really weird. And he was just standing there, and I screamed out loud, because Cad Bane is just one of those things. Like, people don't know. They don't watch the Clone Wars. If you don't watch the Clone Wars, you got. Cad Bane is going to show you what a bounty hunter can truly do. That's all I can say. That is all I can say, and I think that summarizes it more than anything possibly could. Everyone loves Boba Fett. I mean, the show's taking him down, but people love Boba Fett. People love The Mandalorian. Cad Bane will fuck you up And that is it. And he does a badass hat every time. There was like one time he had a hat where I was like, I don't know if I like that hat too much. But this is a good hat. This is a really nice hat. I like the hat. So I'm happy. He's in live action, which means we're getting a 1/6 scale figure of Cad Bane. Because they are not going to... Oh, man. They better not screw this up. Because he's live action. I need that figure. Because it's Cad Bane. Oh, my God. And then he just walks out. Like, he puts the gun... Like, they do the... I cannot express in words... Like, I need a megaphone to just scream. I'm in this stupid snowstorm in Michigan right now. I just need a megaphone to just be like, Cad Bane is in live action. It has happened. People have been talking about this since Boba Fett started. Like, what if we got Cad Bane? And I didn't even want to, like, hope like that. I was like, I just let it go. I didn't even bother, like, he might show up. I'm like, I don't want to hurt myself like that. It's Cad Bane. I can't. That would have been like saying the Darksaber would show up, just assuming. And it's like, I can't put that much hope into something and then be hurt like that. And then it happened. And it happened. And then they blew up it's not the cantina, but they blew up, the spot. So that's crazy. The Pikes are just wiping stuff out now. But man, Cad Bane is in live action. I know there's more than that, but him showing up, despite everything that happened, Grogu training, Ahsoka, and Luke together, that's wild. That is wild. But Cad Bane is in live action. And they did it right, too. As soon as he showed up, the scene that he has is basically the last time we saw him. The last time we saw him when he showed up in Bad Batch. It was the same thing. And it was like, oh, so you're fucked now because Cad Bane is here. I know you're the main character. This is the Bad Batch. But I'm with this dude. I'm on his side because he is so cool. And no one can stop him. I don't know what they're going to do. And I don't think they're going to kill him because they can't. Like, they cannot kill Cad Bane in this show. He's too good for that. They have to have... He has to either go up against the Mandalorian or he has to go up against Boba Fett. And in all honesty, if there is a single character that is worthy of, like, the final fight against Boba Fett or even the Mandalorian, but he's doing his own thing and they've teased some stuff for Boba as well. But if there is a character that's, like, worthy of, like, that true bounty hunter rivalry, it's Cad Bane. Cad Bane versus Boba Fett, and it better be sick. Even though he does, quick draw stuff and he takes people out super fast, he can go into a fight. I forgot my stupid heat was on, but it's perfect. I need to end my rambling now anyway. Cad Bane is in live action. That's all that matters. Also, Grogu has a choice. Yoda lightsaber, little baby chainmail. It's super cute. Both of them are really. But he has to make a choice. And then they end on a cliffhanger and it's like, what do you choose? Maybe we'll find out next week. Maybe that's what they're saving for the Mandalorian. And then next week's episode is going to be finally full actual Boba Fett stuff. But man, oh man. This was wild. I would love to know your thoughts on this episode. Cad Bane showing up. Everything that happened. It was a historic episode. I hate that I always forget about my heat. But as of now, I'm going to quit my rambling. Would love to know what you guys thought about this one. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.